What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. Today it is time for the Week 3 Premier League predictions. Now, I want to give a massive shout out to Kun Aguero, not the Aguero you're thinking of, but he left his predictions on the previous video, so massive shout out to you, lad. He actually correctly predicted the Wolves versus Man United score as well, so nice job for you there. If you want to get your comments featured in the next episode of the Premier League predictions, then leave your comments down below for how you think the Week 3 games are going to turn out. Then we can have a look at it in the Week 4 video, how you got on, that sort of stuff. So massive shout out to Aguero for supporting the channel, and for all of you for supporting the channel. The support in the last video was insane. A load of likes, over 100 comments. It was awesome. So get your comments down below. It doesn't have to be predictions, could just be a nice comment. Whatever you're feeling like, leave a like. And yeah, before we get into the Week 3 predictions, let's take a little look back at how I did in Week 2. And it was kind of like a weekend of two halves for me. First half, I did very, very well. Second half, a bit off the pace. But anyway, kicking off, we had Arsenal versus Burnley. I predicted it would be a 3-1 win to Arsenal. It ended up as a 2-1 win to Arsenal, so in the end, a decent win for the Gunners. You've got to be happy with the 3 points, especially at this stage, with all the other teams dropping points. We've got a lot of tough games ahead of us, including Liverpool, which is the game of the week for me this week, so it was crucial to get 3 points at home to Burnley, so not too bad there. Aston Villa versus Bournemouth, I predicted 2-1 to Aston Villa, and despite, you know, more possession, more chances, I think, it actually went 2-1 the other way to Bournemouth, and as an Arsenal fan who lives right near Bournemouth, I suppose you could say the weekend went fairly well for me. The next game, Brighton versus West Ham, it was my only correct score prediction of the week. I predicted a 1-1 draw, and I was correct in that. The next game, Everton versus Watford, I predicted a 2-0 win to Everton, and it was in fact a 1-0 win to Everton, so again, I can't really complain. The next game was Norwich versus Newcastle. I predicted Norwich would win 1-0. I thought it would be low scoring. I predicted 1 goal in this game, and Norwich won 3-1, so there was 4 goals in that game. The next game, Southampton versus Liverpool, I predicted a 3-1 win to Liverpool, and it was a 2-1 win to Liverpool, and it could have easily been 2-2. Danny Ings got very close to scoring a brace, but just missed from a couple of yards out, so that could have been very, very interesting. The next game, Manchester City versus Tottenham, I predicted a 4-2 win to Man City, and it was a 2-2 draw, thanks to VAR, rightfully so, I think, chalking off the third goal because the arm was involved. However, VAR should have picked up on the penalty when Rodri got absolutely just demolished by, I believe it was Lamella, I think, in the area. I'm surprised VAR didn't look at that. They should have done. So, should Man City have won? I guess not, because it was a 2-2 draw, but they should have had the chance to win by getting that penalty, in my opinion. But either way, it is what it is. Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace. I predicted a 2-2 draw, so I actually predicted 4 goals in this game, and it came out with 1 goal. So, I got the Norwich, Newcastle, and Sheffield United Crystal Palace goals the wrong way around. I predicted a 2-2 draw, and it was actually a 1-0 win to Sheffield United, which is a fantastic win for them, by the way. Chelsea versus Leicester and Wolves versus Manchester United, I predicted a 2-1 win for the home team, and it was a 1-1 draw in both games. Chelsea kind of lucky to escape in the end against Leicester. Leicester looked really good towards the end. Pogba should have scored the penalty. They should have won, but then again, Wolves hit the post very, very close, and they could have won 2-1 as well. So I think 1-1 draw was a fair result in both of those games, so not too far off there. But anyway, kicking it off in Week 3, we have Aston Villa versus Everton. Now, Everton are looking very, very solid, and Aston Villa, they've obviously, I believe, have they lost both their games? They had. They lost against Tottenham, they threw away a lead, and they lost against Bournemouth. They couldn't come back from 2-0 down within the first 15 minutes, so not the best start to Aston Villa's season, and I think Aston Villa, they are going to go on the front foot here. They are at home, and the home crowd always gets behind Aston Villa. It did go a little bit quiet after the first 10 minutes when Bournemouth did go 2-0 up, but, you know, it is what it is. I think they'll be up for it. They will try and play on the front foot, so I think they are going to score, but I think Everton are just good. I just do think they're good, and I think they're going to win. So that is why I'm going for a 2-1 away win to Everton. This could be a close one. It could be a 1-0, but I'm going 2-1 to Everton. I really struggled to pick the next scoreline. It's Norwich versus Chelsea. Now, Norwich had been playing really, really well. Obviously, they were never really likely to get anything against Liverpool at Anfield, so you can forgive them for that. But Teemu Pukki, he's the top scorer for the Premier League this season. 4 goals along with Raheem Sterling, and he looks dynamite. He looks clinical. Chelsea, however, they've been a little bit unfortunate. They started off really well against Leicester and then tailed off, which you just typical Chelsea, really. They did not play that well against Man United at the end. Their second half performances leave a lot to be desired, but I do think Chelsea are going to win. I just do. I don't think Pukki's going to have a wonder week for a 3rd week in a row. Like, maybe he'll score a goal, but I'm going to go with quite a bold one. I'm going to go for Chelsea to win 2-0. surely Pookie's going to get stopped. And he's not gonna score for the third week running. I don't know, maybe a little break off this week. Chelsea finally get the win that they've been looking for. A 2-0 win to Chelsea. The next game is Brighton versus Southampton. Brighton having a decent start to the season, considering a lot of people put them in the relegation zone. Southampton having the sort of season I expected, at least. But I got a lot of stick for saying that Southampton would finish near the bottom of the table. But yeah, it's early days, so we can't really talk about that. I can't separate these two teams. I'd maybe go with a Southampton win if Southampton were playing at their own ground, but then again, Brighton went and upset Watford, beating them 3-0 away, so maybe Brighton's form has changed around. They're looking really solid, actually, so I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, but it wouldn't surprise me if Brighton nick a 2-1 win. In fact, I might predict Brighton to win. You know what? I never predict Brighton to win. Let's do it right now. I might regret that. I originally said 1-1 draw. I'm going to predict a Brighton win. I don't know how many times I've done that on the full 90, but it's not often. Brighton to win, 2-1 against Southampton. The next game, Manchester United against Crystal Palace. Aaron Wan-Bissaka going to be playing against his old club for the first time, and man, he looks good. Even when Man United look bad, Wan-Bissaka looks good. And as far as the Wolves game went, they lost 2-1 twice last year, and they basically, over the transfer window, their attack didn't really change that much, so they scored 1 goal again. The only difference being their defence was better, so they only conceded 1 instead of 2, and Wan-Bissaka looks really, really good. So I think Man United will be able to beat Crystal Palace here. Palace lost to Sheffield away, which wasn't a great result for them. I do think maybe Zaha will get on the score sheet, though. I feel like he'll find a way in, because Man United might just switch off. Maybe at a 2-0 lead or 3-0 lead, they might switch off. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Manchester United. The next game, Sheffield United up against Leicester City. Now, Sheffield, they've been looking decent. You know, they've got the job done. They fought hard for a well-fought draw against Bournemouth, and they fought very, very hard for a 1-0 win against Crystal Palace, and that's how they're going to play their football. It's going to be nitty and gritty, and they're going to grind out results, but Leicester, I think, are just a class above Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, and I think Leicester will be able to get the win. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and I'm going to go with a 1-0 away win to Leicester, because if James Maddison plays as well for Leicester against Sheffield United as he did against Chelsea, surely he's finally going to connect with an assist. So, yeah, that's going to be my score prediction there. The next one, Watford versus West Ham. Watford currently sitting at the bottom of the table, I believe, and West Ham somewhere in the lower mid-table, I think. But again, too early really to speak about that. I think Watford have been not unlucky. They got destroyed by Brighton, and they didn't come away with anything against Everton. But I think they're going to get something against West Ham here. I don't know if it's going to be all 3 points though. I'm going to go for high scoring with both teams trying to get the ball in the back of the net, and it being very back and forth. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. So after that, we have the game of the week. I believe it's 5:30 p.m. on Saturday, Liverpool versus Arsenal. Now, I was thinking perhaps a 2-1 win to Liverpool, but then I thought about it again. Arsenal's backline is a little bit improved. They haven't got Kieran Tierney back. I think when he comes, it'll be a real asset to Arsenal. But Arsenal's attack is stronger, and their midfield, it is what it is. Liverpool, on paper, they are a better team. But obviously, Arsenal, with their attacking power last year, managed to pull back and get a 1-1 draw with Liverpool, effectively stopping them from winning the league. And I think the same thing's going to happen here. Obviously, I don't see Liverpool losing at Anfield. It would be amazing if Arsenal could go to Anfield and beat Liverpool, but I don't really see it happening. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Liverpool might win 3-0. They might really show the gap in quality and win 3-0. Because at the moment, Liverpool and Arsenal, the only two undefeated, won both their games left in the Premier League this season. And Liverpool could just put Arsenal to the ground and just win the game. But I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. We'll see how that turns out. Now, the next game is Bournemouth versus Manchester City. This could be a potential slip-up for City, but I really don't think so. Kevin De Bruyne looks so good, and I could almost see him getting a hat-trick of assists in this game. I'm going to go for a 4-1 win to Manchester City. I can see Bournemouth scoring maybe on a counter-attack, something like that. Maybe make it 1-1, something quite interesting. But I can see Manchester City walking away with a very easy 3 points right behind Liverpool in the Premier League. 4-1 to Manchester City. Now, the next game is Tottenham versus Newcastle. Newcastle were actually a team I predicted to get relegated, and it's looking for them at the moment that their superstar signing, Joel Linton, for 40 million isn't quite working out the way they'd hoped. You'd expect in the next few games for him to get on the score sheet to really get his season running, but I don't see it happening here against Tottenham. Maybe it could. Maybe it could be a 3-1, another 3-1 like when Norwich beat them 3-1, but I don't know. I see Tottenham winning this one comfortably. I'm going to go for a 3-0 win to Tottenham Hotspur. The final game is Wolves versus Burnley. Now, Burnley have looked fairly good. They've looked all right. They looked They didn't have too many chances against Arsenal in the game, to be honest, and they absolutely destroyed Southampton, so that'll do them the world of good. But obviously, this is an away game for Burnley. They beat Southampton at home. I think they are more comfortable at Turf Moor. I'm going to go for a win to Wolves because at Molineux, they just are decent. I know Wolves have got Europa League. I believe they're playing Torino either side of Burnley, so they will have to rotate their squad. I know over the summer they did improve the depth in their squad to cope perhaps with the European football that they have to play, but I'm going to go for a Wolves win, a very close one, a 2-1 win. So that is going to do it for my week 3 predictions. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like on it, and as always, if you want a chance to be shouted out in the week 4 video, leave your week 3 predictions down in the comments below. I love reading them all the other comments, all the nice comments. I love giving a little heart, you know, I love talking to you, reading the comments. It's all awesome. So yeah, that's going to do it from me, and I will see you in the next video very soon.